rescind that and then.
I mean, you need to speak into the mic so the public can hear what you're discussing.
She was only just explaining to me what the attorney, Dr. Martin, and Mr. Taylor was explaining to me, Ms. Shelley.
That's fine. Still needs to be in a mic.
Okay, mic's on.
My mic's not on. Sorry.
We objected that there is still plenty on the agenda, and this view sounds like they were already discussing it. Sounds like you already had planned that you were going to, because you mentioned something at the beginning of the meeting. So it sounds like you already had planned that you were going to adjourn this meeting early. That's what it sounds like. The appearance of.
Okay.
So my concern, Ms. Phelps, is this was a poorly planned agenda then, because we maybe there shouldn't have been so much on the agenda so that we could get to our action items. But I object to not finishing the meeting tonight.
I also object to not finishing the meeting tonight and not even being respectful of staff or other board members' schedules, to be able to come back and finish the meeting on another night. I mean, you didn't even ask whether media was available. In the sense of being able to continue through with, critical action items that we need to vote on. It's just, I just feel like this is just disrespectful to try to adjourn before we actually have any actions, and that requires board member participation so that we can vote, and you have no idea whether people will be available. And also, what vote does this require for the adjournment? Is it a supermajority or a majority vote based on Robert's Rules of Order?
It would be a majority vote.
Okay, Mr. Buswell.
Just to touch base on why personally I would support it, following along with kind of piggybacking, but on a different note from my colleagues, this might have been a quote-unquote bad agenda. I enjoyed seeing all the recognition and awards and instructional highlights that board members have discussed how bad they wanted them on the agenda, and we had that at the beginning of the meeting. I think we do have to be respectful of our staff's time, not whether to have another meeting Wednesday, but the fact that they were here at 8 a.m. Madam Chair, in regards to this meeting being again a quote unquote bad agenda, I think there's blame to go everywhere, because we did sit here and listen to board members reading from a dictionary and making sure that they received the credit they wanted to receive. So again, if we wanted to talk about time wasted from the dais, there's fingers to be pointed at every board member, not just the chair. So that's why I support it.
Thank you.
Madam Chair.
Dr. Daniels.
So I just want to clarify, there's a Board of Supervisors meeting tomorrow. Are we, is there a budget presentation tomorrow at all? Yes. Okay, so there's no reason for us to have a meeting tomorrow at 4:30. The Board of Supervisors meeting starts at 4:30 as well.
Right. So I'll answer that question for you. We discussed that the media will not be here tomorrow, so we were, Ms. Gillespie, that's what, I guess my mic was off, was discussing that to make it for Wednesday. And tomorrow the Board of Supervisors is being presented with the county administrator is presenting his budget to them.
So are we requiring staff to be here again on Wednesday? Because it would be, I would like to finish the meeting. That way we can get through this and not have to ask staff to come back on a Wednesday.
Madam Chair, a point of information, if I may. I think the answer to her question lies in the superintendent's decision. He can decide who needs to be here based on the rather full and comprehensive agenda that we have yet to fulfill. I don't want to be making hundreds of millions of dollars of decision at 1:30 in the morning, and that's why I would support something like this. But to respond to her question, let the superintendent work with his staff. Thank you.
Mr. Bousma?
Dr. Daniels, I just in regards to just completing the meeting, one of the reasons that I'd like to pick this up tomorrow is there's some policies, especially the policy in regards to snacks and public gifts for the schools. I'd like to have a full-blown conversation with what I'd like to see in that policy. Practically complete rewording of that policy. That's one policy, one conversation compared to having 6 policies, because I with 12.03, I don't want to vote on it as a block. I'd like to separate the policies, so we may discuss them separately. Those 12.03 has 6 policies, if I'm not mistaken, and I really would like to take the time to talk about, especially the snack issues. There's other issues in regards to how many minutes we have to speak on formal discussion. Again, I'd really, especially the snack issue, I've been speaking to a lot of people. I'd like to have a conversation on what I would like to see in the policy, and again, it would practically be a complete rewording of the policy in its entirety. And I'd like to be able to have that conversation, but not at 1 in the morning. So by the time we get to the budget, it's probably going to be way past 1, at least 2:30. Sorry, not 2:30, 2:30.
Well, I appreciate that, Miss.
Thank you, Mr. Bousma. Are you done?
Miss?
Were you done? And Ms. Gillespie, did you have something?
Just the same reasons that my colleagues have listed. It is getting late. I actually wanted to separate the policies as well and not vote on them in a block. There's still quite a bit to do here. And it's not fair to keep our staff here till 2 o'clock in the morning like we have. Frankly, I think we're having a lot of discussion on whether we can keep our staff here till 2 o'clock in the morning and having them drive it late at night. So I think even the discussion of it, I think, is almost kind of pointless. But that's just my opinion.